People are engaging in the practice. And then we're going to do water offerings. We're going to do mandala offerings, Guru Yoga. We're going to do all the preliminaries. So that later, we all, go up to our retreat center, then we can receive Tantra. Oh, that's going to be fabulous. Imagine Tsem Rinpoche teaches Tantra. Secret. In a forest, in a retreat center, some weird exotic deities that are naked and on fire, and they have smacks with each other. Don't you love it? They're in consort. Oh yeah, you can teach some Tantra, but you're not going to get up there with me because if you don't do your preliminaries, you're not going to be qualified. Why are you not going to be qualified? Not that you're bad. Your mind won't be prepared. So if you stick around with me, we have a whole lifetime of programs to go on that will extend into future lifetimes. Oh, exciting. So if you want exotic, exciting, fabulous, naked, fiery deities that confer you the third eye, stick around with me. Because when you're finished, I'm going to give you a certificate called your Lopsang Rampa. That's right. And they'll find out that you're a plumber from Florida. And I'm a plumber from New Jersey. Oops. Found out, but never mind. We take the money and run. Oh yes, that's what we're going to do. I have a whole plan for all of you guys for the future. So I do step by step by step. But that's what all these are for. Giving you teachings, teaching you the preliminaries, studying together, going to holy places to purify karma. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. The agenda is Tantra later, practice to gain attainments. So that at your time of death, you don't go to your death like squealing pigs at a Chinese wedding. You go calm, quietly, controlled, with your winds gathered. For the lowest practitioner, focusing on one's guru and yidam as one. Taking a perfect rebirth again to start where you left off. For the middling person, they will take rebirth in a place instantly and practice what they practiced previously on a higher level faster. Meet the perfect lamas again, perhaps their own. And the most supreme practitioner are the ones that after death, during death process, they are embraced and kissed and loved and hugged, and they ascend Kichara paradise. Incredible. That's all possible. They're kissed and hugged and embraced by who? The lady of that place. The exalted lady, Vajrayogini. Definitely. It's not a fantasy. I'll give you more evidence in the future. More. To be embraced and loved and kissed by an exalted lady who is actually your supreme mother. Why? From her are born all the qualities of a Buddha. You're her son, you're her daughter. Kandaroi's situation, we're still figuring out son or daughter. But anyways, never mind, he still gets to go up there. We'll figure out later. Wonderful. Couldn't you see him at the pearly gates of Kichara paradise up there in heaven? All of us are in, he's still outside. They're trying to figure out his gender. Not the first time. And the Vajrayogini sends a little messenger out and says, oh, let the little monster in. Then he does his Indian dance in. and we're all in there going, oh, let's go to another heaven. Can you see it? Paris is up there having a great time. She's doing the rent-a-cloud thing. You know, for 10,000 merit points, she rents a cloud and goes visit other Buddha heavens. She interviews Amitabha. So how's it in the Western paradise? You see Paris, she takes another cloud and she goes over, to Avalokiteshvara's heaven, Potala, visits him. So tell me, today is it going to be the 2-arm outfit, the 4-arm outfit, the 1,000-arm outfit? Can you tell me? She's our own Dharma cloud reporter. She comes back to Vajrayogini heaven, she types on her, cloud computer made of emptiness. She gets out all these fabulous articles, and guess what? When Rinpoche shows around, she emanates her hair long. When Rinpoche's gone, it goes back to that. She looks like an emu. It's going to be fabulous up there. And Mr. Ngao, oh my God. Mr. Ngao is very happy because his wife is born in a lotus petal filled with jewels and money and calculators and accounts and all plus points. Everything on this sheet is plus points. Profits going on shares, everything. I don't know what you guys are interested in, but everything there. Imagine that. And she herself is going to be in the form of a big calculator. Isn't that fabulous? Just think about that. Oh, yes. Yes. And Smoochie, can you imagine? We'll know which one's Smoochie because, the lotus is like bursting to open. It's a little tight in there. So it's like, hello. Incredible, huh? Couldn't you see Suzanne? She's the only one that gets kicked out of Vajrayani's heaven temporarily because she didn't do her homework. But Vajrayani is very kind. And these two fellas, when they ask their little questions, Vajrayani has this guardian called Kenda Rohi, four-armed and fierce. They're going to send Kenda Rohi, sick him. I'll be behind Vajrayani. Which means they harass the crap out of me down there. They ask me all these ridiculous questions. Get him, get him, get him. Vajrayani's like, really? They hurt you, my poor son? Don't you love it? Oh, yes. And then in Vajrayani's heaven, we have these toke offerings. I'll have a big fat toke and put it down in Andy's mouth, so he'll eat toke nonstop. That's it. And wonderful toke offerings. Oh, yes. And Millie, in Vajrayani's heaven, she got caught having an affair with Hiruka, Vajrayani's consort. 12 arms. Can you imagine 12 arms fondling her? Millie was never that happy in her whole life. She's been fondled by Hiruka. Hiruka is 12-armed, who's Vajrayani's consort. So she's up there. She was caught behind the clouds, having an affair with Hiruka, and Vajrayani caught. So that's where you two been. Millie's like, does that mean I have to leave? Anyway, she's extremely happy. She's not uptight anymore. She actually doesn't explain anything anymore. 12 hands are miraculous. Go get a 12-hand fondling massage. Incredible. Incredible. Can you imagine that? Incredible. Oh, we have all our little agendas to go up there. We all want to go up there. Definitely. I want to go up there too. I want to go up there, but I'm going to be in a part of that place where, you guys can't find me. Why? You don't have to get teachings from me. You can get it from Vajrayani. And that's what really happens. Huge, fabulous place. It is developed from our mind in the merits. It comes from that. So what happens is, these are real easy. We're going to talk about tankas, butter lamps, water offerings, precious. They're all related. Art of black tea, very, very easy. Because I gave you the foundation. I'm going to be just straightforward about it. But I want you to remember about Dharma centers. I want you to remember what we talked about. I want you to remember the purpose of listening to all these things. I want you to remember. Don't just think, I want to get it done, I want to get it done. No, it's not about getting it done. It's about understanding it, mastering it, and being able to practice it and doing it. If you know how to do black tea, the art of it, to master it, to understand it, to go in depth, to understand the benefits. It isn't just finishing it and we're done with it, done. No. Better to be complete on one than to be incomplete on all. I'm not being cliche. So what we should do is definitely, I'll explain, and I'll talk and accept questions. And your job is to have a lot of compassion and pity and understanding for others. That if you can get the Dharma in you, you can understand. You know what happens? You can help someone. Someone you're going to meet in the future, all of us do, that needs help, that needs advice, that needs something higher than what they hear in the world. And that you have the Dharma knowledge and wisdom at some level to give that to them and change their lives after you've changed yours. And that's a great feeling. Great feeling. So we listen to Dharma out of great compassion. We listen to Dharma out of great love and appreciation of others and who we really are. And that's a good motivation. Tankas. Tankas are exactly the same structure and exactly the same benefit as statues. Only one is longer lasting, one is shorter lasting. On a tanka, it contains the body, speech, and mind of an enlightened being or enlightened beings. Tankas can be something that we commission, that the deities or the images or whatever has a special connection, affinity, or relationship to us. Maybe it was some deity or practice that was assigned to us by our lamas. So when we create a tanka of them, we keep it for our visualization practices as an object of offering and merit. It's tremendously beneficial, especially if it's connected to us. But in general, any tankas, images of the enlightened beings, is very, very beneficial, very holy. It is said that even a simple line drawing of the Buddha, no colors, nothing, just a line drawing, And a person who has no faith and understanding, and they're angry about something, and they just happen to glance at that picture. Just that glance, nothing else. It is said that it plants the seeds of receiving teachings and initiations from 10 million Buddhas. So 10 million Buddhas is a little wow, but symbolically what it means is it plants the seeds for us to meet a teacher that will bring us to full enlightenment. That's the power of tankas, power of images. And the images in the Tibetan tradition of tanka painting is not just sporadically made. Each deity, each figure must correspond to measurements, tik. It has to accord with specific colors, iconography, symbols, structure. It is not arbitrarily made. Because why? They have been written down by very advanced high lamas who, if you follow these specific rules of iconography and measurements, the benefits from these beings are even more. It's a vehicle, it's a samaya vehicle for them to, the wisdom beings, to bless us. So when you see the deities, when you see the images, they most likely have relationship to each other or to you. And to view them and to see them plant seeds of enlightenment in our mind. And for the nomadic people of Tibet and many parts of Tibet, it is not practical because they move with the grazing of their herds of animals. So to have a lot of clumsy statues, with no disrespect intended, it was very difficult. So the lay people very much liked tankas. Why? It was very, very, easy transport. You just roll it up, roll it down, and then wherever you plant your tent for the next 2-3 months, then you're able to set up an instant altar. Because Tibetans cannot be without an altar. They cannot be without an object of enlightened being in their residence. And so when they hang up the tanka, and a lot of them, they have 2 or 3 or many, it depends on the household, the person, and they hang up the tanka, and immediately in front, they'll set up in the tent their altars. That's the first priority. Immediately make offerings. They'll go down to the river, walk miles or wherever it is, and bring fresh water back and make offerings. Flowers and all that is not easy in some parts of Tibet. And they set in front, and immediately they make offerings of juniper, incense, outside the tent, and make offerings of the 3 jewels and ask for their blessings and to continue their connection with the 3 jewels. And the tankas can be of any figure. Historical figures that are enlightened, like Lama Tsongkhapa, Buddha Shakyamuni. It can be of the meditational deities and yidams. It can be of particular dharma protectors. It can be of great saints like Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, Chandrakomin, Atisha. It can represent a universe within a universe, like a mandala of a deity, like a Yamataka or Vajrayogini mandala, which represents a complete transformed universe to be perceived by an enlightened mind. And it could be of it can be scenes of mystical places that can be achieved through meditation, such as Shambhala, Kichara Paradise, Ganden Heaven, Tushita Heaven. So tankas represent the supreme and the purest. And they're made from minerals. I mean, real tankas are made from minerals, natural and clean and pure. And the tanka painter is not, traditionally, now it's different because of situation and place. Traditionally, tanka painters are not allowed to have salaries. They're not allowed to say the number that they wish to have for a tanka. Oh, I'm going to charge them. No. What happens is that tanka painters actually paint tankas in the past for practicing dharma, for purifying the negative actions of the body, especially, and to gain merits to achieve a Buddha body. So they paint tankas that other people may get the benefit of seeing enlightened beings. Why? Tankas is a bridge between us and the enlightened beings because we can't see the enlightened beings at our level yet. So tanka painters actually, they have a good diet. They hold their vows of refuge. They have good samaya to the lama, especially, to their deities. And they're good in speech and action and behavior. And they do their sadhanas and practices, and when they make that kind of tanka, it's very, very blessed. Because the person themselves are pure and clean. And then the base is before they paint it, they put a white base on it, and the base can be mixed with holy ashes of highly enlightened beings, highly enlightened saints and masters. So tanka becomes incredible. So then they draw the measurements of the deities and what deities to be commissioned. And sometimes for people's sickness and ill health and obstacles, specific tankas can be commissioned to purify the karma of that person. Oh, yes. And how big the tanka is where you want to put it, how much money you have. And after the tanka painter has painted your tanka, then you go to him respectfully with a kata, with an offering of how much you feel you can offer for that product. Why? To sustain him in his livelihood or her livelihood so that they can continue doing their Dharma craft. And Tankas are portable. They're unique. They're very beautiful. They're simple. They're easy. They're easy to store. But they're highly significant. And they're brocaded around. Why is that? Because we like to offer the 5 sensory offerings to the Buddhas. Tactile feeling is beautiful cloths and brocades. So we offer the best brocades onto the enlightened beings. So in Tanka form, the only way we can do it is surround it. We can't put it on it or cover it. So we offer beautiful, beautiful brocades around the holy beings. In this case, this brocade is gold thread weaves, pure gold. So we offer it to the deities. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. And then when the Tanka is finished and done, then you take it to your Lama or a Lama, and you have it consecrated. And sometimes, if you have a very strong connection with the Lama, your Lama can put their handprint or their thumbprint on it. It's very, very significant. I have Tankas with the handprint of Trijang Rinpoche on it. It's very, very blessed. And many of the Tankas come to life. In Howell, New Jersey, the Mongolian Buddhists there escaped from in World War II from Russia, because that's where they resided. And they're all Tibetan Buddhists. And they rebuilt the temple and their holy images there. And there was a beautiful Tanka, Benden Hamo. And it was really weird because I used to go into the temple nearby my house, and I'd be very attracted to this Tanka. I used to sit in front of her and look at her, and I liked her very, very much. And so I heard from one of the monks, my teacher wouldn't tell me, but I heard from one of the monks that this Benden Hamo is very, very special because at night they can hear her mule stamping and hoofing into the ground. So from the picture itself, many times people have heard the stamping of the hooves of her mule, because she rides on a mule. She shows that kind of, because why? The person who painted it is the Samaya is clean. The patron themselves, the Samaya is clean. The Lama who blessed it has affinity. And the Tanka has been kept and worshipped by a person who develops compassion. So all the necessaries match, definitely they come to life. Definitely. Many statues speak. In Tibet, many, many statues speak. And some statues take on an ethereal aura. You look at them, they look like they're alive. That is dependent on the practitioner. You can look at the state of your affairs and your practice by looking at your statues. Whether they look bland, dead, flat, just like a piece of stone, rock, or brass, or they look alive. And it doesn't matter whether the statues are highest quality or the lowest quality, but they reflect your spiritual practice. Definitely. And those who are stingy or miserly in making statues and making tankas and offering and using whatever, they lose out very much, because making tankas and statues is a fabulous way of purifying negative karma of the body. And creating the cause for you to have fabulous, magnificent, charismatic, strong bodies in the future. Very, very powerful. And it plants the seeds for you to achieve Buddha's body. So in Tibet, they have a tradition of making tsatsas, 100,000 in their lifetime. That's one of the preliminary practices we can do. Why? Incredible benefits. Incredible benefits to make the statues and images. And so they surround it with a brocade. And the brocade quality, how good is depends on how much you can offer. It can be change saver. And then the 2 banners coming down is actually decorational now. But what it was that's what originally was used to tie the tanka down in the tent. But it's become a decorational purpose. And then on top, you see it wrapped up, that's the covering of the tanka. Because when you cover it, it needs to protect the painting, otherwise it will scrape off. So what they do is they put a protector covering, and it's very smart. Why? They use that as an offering too. What is that an offering? They put beautiful thin silks, and they wrap it up and hold it like that to give it an appearance of a victory banner for our party. So the top of the tanka is to represent the victory banner, which is an offering to the enlightened being. For example, this is medicine Buddha. So on top of medicine Buddha, you can see the victory banner. Offer to Lord medicine Buddha. Why? To make offerings to his enlightened state, his royal state of enlightenment. That in the future, may we become just like medicine Buddha, to be fully enlightened. Therefore, I offer you. So people in the temple or in the center or who take care of tankas, they have a very sacred job. When they hang the tankas up, when they work on it, it is incredible. And then even when you unfurl the tankas and you put the covering on top, it's a practice. You can recite Namo Guru Be, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Guru Be, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. You can think whatever is in the King of Prayers may it come true. And then you wrap it up and put it up beautifully on top. You offer a victory banner to the Buddhas. Equivalent to carrying a victory banner over a monarch, a Buddha, to teachings. And then the back of it may have the sign or the imprints, handprints of your Holy Lama. Incredible. Beings who have achieved some sort of enlightenment, some sort of compassion, where that can make the tanka come to life. And when we keep these tankas well, we should keep them out as much as possible of the bedroom. As much as possible out of the bedroom, out of respect. If our place is very restricted, we have a studio apartment, we got to do everything there. All body functions there. Now what we do is that we can cover it. We can put it up, it's no problem. But it's not negative karma, it's just respect. Just because you cover it doesn't mean, Dzongkapa can't see through the cover. Of course he can. A little cover can't cover Dzongkapa. He can see, but from our side, what is it? Creating awareness. And when we show respect to enlightened beings, we create the merits to receive respect. Receive respect for what? To be a benefit to others. When people respect you, it's easier to benefit them. Much easier. So to make tankas of enlightened beings is a very powerful object. Powerful. I made huge ones. I found sponsors in the past to make huge ones. 4 or 5 times this size. Many I offered to Ganden Monastery. Many. And the monks use it every day for worship. Many. And I've given many tankas away. And I like tankas I haven't commissioned and drawn. And I give away many tankas to people. Always. Why? It's tremendous benefit. If you're in a temple, what are you coming for the temple for? You're coming to the temple to pray. If you're coming to a center, you're coming there for what? To pray. To be blessed. To see visually the Holy Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So if you go to a center, it's bare. The statues are small. Just pictures. And then the patrons, and they themselves, they have money. They can afford it, and they're cheapskates, and they don't want to. How do you create your center to grow bigger? How? So if you can raise funds, if you can do it, you should. You can make your center as beautiful as possible. Why? Because initially, when people first come in, that's what they see. And you plant seeds of enlightenment in their mind. And you encourage them. So to have a center and not have beautiful body, speech, and mind representations of the Buddha reflects the miserliness of our mind. And it can be also that we don't know the benefits. In centers where we have space, we should have big statues, big tankas, big images. It creates merit. Every day that these tankas and every day that these images exist, you collect merits. Every single person who goes and makes a wish at the holy beings, you create a cause for that. They go to an empty center, there's nothing there, what do you want to pray to? But they're not at a level where they can see Buddha and just pray like that. For us, wherever we see a statue, we go there, we pray. Where got Chinese people go inside a temple to just pray, nowhere? Unless it's Jade Emperor that's outside. But, yes, so you should make your temples as beautiful and as ornate, as big as possible. And you should never be stingy about it. And you should never think that you lost something by sponsoring them. You don't lose anything. You gain. You gain the benefits of having holy images. Very, very beneficial. These are practices not done by Tsem Rinpoche. These are practices done throughout the Buddhist world. In fact, the images are so holy, they were first allowed by Lord Buddha, who was invited to a function and who could not make it. So the patrons asked his permission to make his likeness, his image, so that he can grace the function and give it an aura. The Shakyamuni Buddha agreed, and that's where the tradition of Buddha images arose. He gave his permission. And then on a personal level, to the king of Sri Lanka, who was too far from Bodh Gaya, where he was longing to see Shakyamuni so much, Shakyamuni allowed for a picture of him to be made to resemble him. And Shakyamuni himself blessed it and had that picture sent to the king of Lanka for the Dharma to grow. To see a Buddha image is very blessed. It's not Buddha having a big ego and pride like he's a movie star standing, with dark glasses, he's Jackie O here. No, it's not that. He has no pride and no ego. None. So that practice comes from Buddha. And you think, what's this Tibetan tanka and all that stuff with Tibetans with their statue? No. Afghanistan before, look at the huge cave, rock, mountain carvings of Lord Buddha. You go to China, how much rock carvings are there? You go to Thailand, look at the beautiful statues they have, the temples that they have to house it. This is not a tradition of Tibet. This is a tradition of Buddhism. It's a method to purify one's karma, to generate awe and admiration in the beholder, and to plant seeds in the beholder to achieve Buddha's qualities, and as an object of merit, as an object of making offerings. And for the patrons, it's wonderful. The bigger the statue, the better for the sponsors. Why? The bigger the statue, I hate to say it this way, but it's kind of calculative, the bigger the merit. Definitely. Definitely. We should never be stingy. In fact, if our budget is not that much and we want to get something, we shouldn't think, oh, I need this. We should budget ourselves out and get it. I did that for years when I was a child. Years. We should budget, we get holy images. And if we don't have space, we get holy images for other people. Because the benefits and it's beyond value. Never, ever be stingy with the Dharma. Never, ever be grasping miserly with the Dharma. Never, never, ever. Why? It is your only hope to gain the merits to become wealthy, if that's what you want in your future lives. Like I said, going to a Dharma center, and people like to say it's simple. It's not really simple. It's people don't want to make an effort to make it better. Simplicity is when your mind is reached a level where simplicity is practice. But for many people, we haven't reached that level, so we need outer trappings of the three jewels. We need it. So to have a Dharma center, a sign of its growth is images. A sign. It will attract. It will bless. And the whole area where the images reside will be blessed. And that's the main reason I opened up the Dharma stores, is that I can give the opportunity to many people to bring these images home. That's the main motivation. I have no other motivation for that. If I have any other agenda for that, it would be negative karma. Selling images and selling tankas is negative karma. Very, very negative. Very negative. So I have to be careful on that. And so what happens is that tankas is a traditional art of Tibet. They're beautiful paintings made in minerals. And on top of that, for the patron to collect merit, they'll offer gold on it. So all those things sparkling is pure gold offer. And that's not a Tibetan practice, that's a Buddhist practice. In other parts, like in Thailand, they stick gold leaf. It's not a Tibetan practice. It is universal in the Buddhist world. So to have beautiful tanka image, imagine to have a beautiful tanka image of a particular yidam or deity you have affinity with, and to meditate and make offerings in front of that is very, very beautiful. It's a focus. We invest in cars, we invest in clothes, we invest in restaurants. For many people, go to a restaurant, $200, $300, nothing. You don't feel a pinch, but next day, it just comes out. You don't get anything. Never, never, never be stingy on Dharma objects, never. Always make your effort. Why? There are many benefits. I'll teach you in the future when I specifically talk about that. Many, many benefits that arise. So tankas, they're hung anywhere in any place, except, of course, the toilet. Even in your bedroom, it can. Depends on what your space situation. And modern tankas in Malaysia, you can have the brocade, or you can have it without the brocade. So you can have it with the brocade and hang it and cover it, and you can even frame it, or you can have it without the brocade, and you can frame it as you like. You don't even have to frame it. But remember, it's an object offering. And then on the sides, we have tang tuk, is another object offering. Those tang tuks are put on as ornamental features with the 8 auspicious signs to offer silver or whatever metal, precious metals to the three jewels, precious minerals. Everything is an object of offering. Everything is an object of sight. Everything is an object to convey enlightenment. Convey a spirit of enlightenment. In this tanka, it conveys the spirit of this Lama's life. This holy Lama's life, his monastery, the deities that were very connected to him, the Dharma protectors that he used to be a benefit to others, his patrons and sponsors on the bottom, and also his root Lama on top. So this is a biographical tanka, what we call. So if you know the Lama's life, if you look at the tanka, it reminds you of different features, and it helps you to reflect and think of your Lama and remember your Lama. And it's said that it's very auspicious to have a tanka of your Lama, or one of his previous incarnation, whatever, if that's the situation. Very auspicious. Why? For you, he's the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. So this one's a biographical tanka, the Lama, and by his hand gesture and what he holds and what he does, you can tell what was the main activity of his life. So in this Lama's case, the main activity of his life was giving Dharma teachings. And before Dharma teachings, contemplation. So this Lama did many, many contemplations. Many, many prayers, many contemplations. So he did a lot of meditations, retreats. This hand gesture represents that. So by looking at tanka, you know what this Lama was pervasively doing in his life. So he did a lot of meditations. By his meditation, he holds a long life vase. The long life vase means what? By his meditations and prayers, he taught the Dharma. By teaching the Dharma, it was equivalent to giving people immortality, to be free from samsara and its fears and its pitfalls, to heal people, to help people. And then the Lama is holding a stem of a lotus with that a Dharma text and a sword that represents that this Lama had great knowledge, was very learned, was a master scholar, holding a Dharma text, because it represents he understands Dharma. And the sword on top represents that he was an excellent teacher, penetrative, very sharp and very quick like a sword. So they're likening him to having the blessings of Lord Manjushri, to be a benefit to others. And then behind him are beautiful trees and beautiful fruit trees to represent that when you have connection to this Lama, fruits like a fruit tree will bear. Your practice, your needs and wants will arise like fruits. It represents the power of this Lama. And he wears the golden hat of one of the... Why that hat is not worn by any monk or any teacher? You have to be of certain caliber or rank. So this Lama must have great rank, must have been hierarchically very high due to his attainments, to wear a hat of a great Pandita. And he sits on a meditation cushion, representing, again, his main focus is meditation. And his legs are in meditative position, representing, again, he engaged in many practices. Some lamas are in debate pose. Some lamas are in standing pose. They have many actions in different lifetimes. This one pervasively meditation and teaching. And his face, in this case, was, unlike the compassionate Kuan Yin, who's smiling and nice and gentle and whatever, this Lama has a fierce demeanor. His eyes are fierce, his brows are twitched together, and he has a look of slight wrath, meaning this Lama used wrathful methods to subdue problems and difficulties and to subdue his students. So most likely this Lama manifested hot temper, hot mouth, and very direct. Very direct. So his face takes on a demeanor of wrath, meaning he used 4 powers: peace, increase, wrath, control. So these are the 4 enlightened powers of a Buddha. He used the method of wrath pervasively to subdue and control. So during his life, maybe there were very different difficult factions and difficult people and difficult situations where if they were controlled, the Dharma can grow. His patrons and his sponsors were not ordinary because he was a very high renowned Lama. His patrons and sponsors and his students were the kings of Mongolia, mainly. So the emperors and the kings of Mongolia and the royal family represented there used to bring many offerings to him and make offerings to him and then sponsor his activities. They were his patrons. And so if the royalty came, you can imagine that many, many, many students came to him. He has hundreds and thousands of students. So in his pervasive action, again, is teaching the Dharma from meditative experiences. So from that Tanka alone, it tells a story. And if you understand the symbolism behind it, for many people in Tibetan tradition who are illiterate, it helps a lot. And for highly literate people and scholars and masters and meditation masters and stuff, it's a quick reminder instantly of what this Lama pervasively did. And it's easier, why? Then when the student relates to this Tanka and makes offerings and prays, there's a focus. They know what they're praying for. May I become like you, Lama? May I be able to experience meditative practices? May I stay in retreats? And the leg represents focus and taming the monkey mind. And the hand represents total confidence in teaching, meaning arisen from personal practice. And the face is using wrath. Why? Mostly we associate wrath with some kind of anger. But if this Lama can use wrath and not go to hell and still have so many students, his wrath must be Vajra wrath. Vajra wrath meaning the type of wrath that is ferocious, that purifies your karma. And if you're a student who has merits and you understand the nature and you can fight your own ego, if you're lucky, the Lama will shout and be very fierce with you. The more a Lama shouts at a student is a representative of how powerful the student's self-grasping mind is and how the student can outbreak their habits. And the Lama will be very compassionate to put themselves in that type of position to shout and tell off that student. And only a being with very good motivation is able to use wrath and not go to hell for it. And in fact, Lamas will shout at students and the Dharma will grow. People like us shout at people, they go away. Why? The motivation and the practice is not there. And many, many highly developed Lamas will use wrath. Song Rinpoche was well known for his wrath. Very rarely does he smile. People shivered near him. But when you listen to him, when you watch his actions, you know he's an enlightened being. So this Lama pervasively used wrath to convey the Dharma and to subdue students and subjugate. And he did a lot of meditations and prayers. And his main activity was teaching the holy Dharma. Main activity. And his root Lama is His Holiness, the first Panchen Lama. Floating in the sky. Why? Even though this Lama is very high, even higher than him is his root Lama. So even such a high personage will put their root Lama on top of them to show respect to the Lama. And then his meditational practices were pervasively great Yamantaka, dispeller of fear and death, creator of magical abilities, Yamantaka. From Yamataka's practice, one can gain magical abilities very quick. Heruka was his other practice. Heruka, with his 12 arms, releases us from the 12 interdependent links of samsara. With his 4 faces, he pervades the 4 directions. With his compassion, with his laugh, with his gestures. Heruka is very famous for his laugh. The minute he laughs, the spirits and obstructors run. Demons take flight. He has a very powerful laugh. Ha, ha, ha. Enlightened. And for us, when we hear the laugh, it destroys our demons. Self-delusions, illusions, hatred is subdued and suppressed by Hiruka's laugh. And he's holding his consort. Represented that this yidam is so powerful that even engaged in sexual embrace, he commits no negative offense. Then the third deity that he practiced very much was Vajrayogini, the one that rescues sentient beings. Especially now, it's very pertinent for those who have little merit, wants great benefit and small practice and not so complicated, yet all the benefits are there. Vajrayogini, who perpetually looks into the sky, is telling you where she can lead you at this time, and her body doesn't have many arms, doesn't have many clothes, doesn't have many heads and legs. Why? To show you that her practice is simple and it's easy, but it's beneficial. Its benefits are exactly like any other tantra. Exactly. And her red body represents the ultimate nature of great compassion and great love for others. And her non-attachment to samsara represents her nakedness, always perpetually looking and facing the sky. Why? She is letting you know, I will take you there. I'll take you to Kichara paradise. So this Lama pervasively practiced this in his monasteries in the background, what he belonged to. And then his patrons are there listening to him, getting his dharma. Actually, when we paint biographical tankas, it's very auspicious to paint a lot of students. Temji yapo. If you put a Lama and just a few students, it's not very auspicious. Why? It's like, oh, he didn't have many students. So when we paint tankas of the Lamas, of our gurus, of our masters, you know what happens? It helps to remind the student and reminds them of who their Lama is and what they're able to do to help the Lama to do the same thing in this life. And so when we paint the Lama's tankas, we should paint a lot of figures filled with a lot of students, because if they were that great, they definitely had that. You know, you don't put 2 or 3 students that are hanging out there offering jade and metal. You know, it's like, what? Poor Lama. And then the practices that he did was the Holy Setra and the 4-faced Mahakala, which definitely, why did they put below the Lama? Because this Lama is apparently accomplished. He's accomplished, therefore, he doesn't ask the Dharma protectors to do things, he orders them. So he has realized some sort of very strong commitment, realized emptiness, that where he actually commands and orders the Dharma protectors to do this, this, and this, and this. So one who respects the Lama will have the blessing of the Yidam, will have the blessing of the Dharma protectors. One who only respects the Yidam and not the Lama, the benefits will be much less. One who does Dharma protector practice very well, but does not have faith in the Lama or respect for the Lama, the Dharma protector can do very little for you. Why? Why? How can you expect a son or a daughter to love you if you're always trying to hate their parents? Not possible. So if the Dharma protectors respect the Lama so much, the Lama must have some qualities that we don't see. And then how did he gain those qualities? From the practice of tantras, which is showing you openly. And the Lama has passed away, therefore they can show you the yidams. Actually, during the lifetime of the Lama, they will not reveal the yidams at all. Yidam practices are very secret. So since the Lama has passed away, and he's gone, he's already achieved his attainment, nothing can be taken away. They put the yidams there openly. So that's not the only yidams and practices he did. There's much, much more, but those are the main ones he used to benefit others. To destroy and dispel obstacles of others, he would use Yamataka. To free people of extreme grasping and desire, he would use Heruka. And to give hope to those who have no hope, to give a lazy disposition, backward mentality, no discipline and control, he conferred Vajrayogini onto them, so that they do not have to suffer. So this is a total biographical tanka. Biographical. And so there's a distinction between this one and this one. If you look at the bottom, this has a red patch, this one has no patch. What that represents is, it's another way of making extra offering, because sometimes we can't afford very nice brocade. So we get one square brocade that's very expensive and offered onto that we may gain the merits. So what happens is that we call the door of the Tanka, which is how we enter into that realm. I mean, it's symbolic. So like this one, oh, you can't see, symbolic. So Tankas are very beautiful ways to express a Lama's biography, visions, spiritual places, attainments. Example, a mandala Tanka of Yamataka, Hiruka, Vajrayogini, Kala Chakra, a mandala. If you know how to look at it and read it, it's a total illustration of the qualities of that deity and what that particular practice emphasizes to become enlightened. Example, in the Hiruka, Guhya Samaja, and Yamataka Tantras. The 8 cemeteries that surround are outside the Vajra wall. Oh, wait. Yeah. In Vajrayoginis, it's the opposite. There's symbolic meaning, very significant. Why? That practice focuses on specific practices and specific delusions to become enlightened. So they're very great guides, great meditational pieces. And we have Tankas. It's a great object of making offerings and prostrations, great gift for people. The minute you bring a Tanka into a room, it's consecrated. It blesses the whole area, brings peace and brings happiness. And you know, all of you work so hard and you make money, you should get the best result of your money. Not just food and clothes, but spiritual items of spiritual value that every day you can gain merits. Why else do you work so hard? You can't take it with you. Why else? And the best is to erect beautiful things in our home, yes, but more so in the centers and temples. Why? Because hundreds and thousands of people get benefit for many, many years. Many. And that came from us. We can dedicate a statue. We can make a beautiful Lama Tsongkhapa statue, big one, dedicate someone's center for someone else who's sick. Or for our lineage, for our father and mother who's passed away, who's been very kind to us. Don't just say they're kind and go to their graveyards, Chengbang, go like that, and eat chicken, give them chicken. They can't have it. They already took rebirth. You go Chengbang, you just Chengbang yourself. Why? You're the only one eating what? They're not going to eat. They're not eat anything. No offense intended. But if you make a statue dedicated to the people that you love that are passed away, and you dedicate it to them, and people make offerings, some of the merits can go to them. Much more beneficial. So do you have a mother and father that's been very kind to you? Well, you should dedicate it for them. You should do it for them always, again and again. Repay their kindness. Why? Where are they going to take rebirth? Ultimately, what can you do for them except give them some relief from samsara? And to have the honor to work in a Dharma store, to disseminate the knowledge of Tankas and statues to other people. You should pay them and not you get paid to do this job. Why? Extremely beneficial. Extremely. Extremely. So when we look at each Tanka, we can get a history, we can understand. And when we look at the deities, we know that this deity pervasively uses what energy and what method to bring us to enlightenment. You'll know by the way they sit, their color, their iconography, their mount, like what animal they're sitting on, if it's a man or throne, you'll understand totally their nature. If you understand the nature of deities, the Dharma. Why? All Tankas of deities are iconography of the stages and steps to enlightenment. That's what it is. So therefore, to see it, it gives you great blessing. Why? It's a physical, drawn-out map to enlightenment in an iconography form. So if you know the Dharma, and you look at it, you'll understand. If you look at that, you'll be able to teach the Dharma from a Tanka. Just from a Tanka, if you know the Dharma, you'll be able to teach the Dharma from a Tanka. Why? And then from the deities, the way they sit, their coloring, all that. From that, you can weave the Dharma in between their body, what they look like, the color. Why is that? Because you know the Dharma and you know how it represents. And seeing that represents one section of the Dharma, you can explain to others. So if you know the Dharma, it is a physical drawing or a map to enlightenment. It's very, very powerful. Very significant. Very, very significant. Very, very powerful. And so, this art is not just an art, but it is definitely a very powerful visual method for enlightenment. Very, very powerful. That's what Tanka is all about. And then, along with that, we offer brocade onto them. we offer brocade onto them in order to gain merit. Merit not alone. Merit for what? For the destruction of what that brocade represents. That brocade mainly, it has many meanings, represents attachment to tactile feeling. We like to touch nice things. We like to have nice things. We are attracted to tactile feeling. And being attracted to tactile feeling and chasing after tactile feeling creates more desire, and then we chase more and more and more and more. Some people can touch a piece of cloth and have an orgasm and scream and die. Why? They have this misconception and label view that if I have this and I touch this, it will bring me happiness. Whereas actually a cover, not a bad cover, that they don't even know. So having attachment to tactile feelings creates a lot of problems for us. Offering brocade up is a way of destroying tactile attachment out of the 5 senses. Visual, smell, hearing, taste, touch. So one of the main methods to destroy tactile feeling. Similarly, the same theme is in the offerings. In the offerings, you have offering the 5 sensory offerings. 5 sensory and 3 more representing the body, speech, and mind. So when you offer 8 cups, it is representative of offering all your attachments, all the things you like to see, all the things you like to hear, praises and all that, music or whatnot, and all the speech, and all the, tactile feeling, all smells. Because this attachment to smells is part of the self-cherishing mind. And so what happens is when you offer the 5 sensory objects of offering, it is same as what you have in the tankas. The tankas itself is a method to destroy that. And the offerings itself is a direct method on top of the method. So when you offer the 5 sensory objects of offerings to the images or the deities, you are not offering to the cloth and the brocade or the statue or to idols. You are offering to a consecrated image where it represents an enlightened aspect of the mind. So you're making offerings to a Buddha. Very holy. Very, very holy. Incredible. And then when we put these object offerings out, we can do 8 bowls or 7 bowls. 7 bowls, I didn't come across an explanation. 7 bowls is the 7 steps that Lord Buddha took when he first took rebirth in the 4 cardinal directions and proclaimed that this will be his last life. This is an offering to reach that state. And the 8 cups, it can be either 8 or it can be 7. 8 represents the 5 sensory offerings that we are attached to. So we offer what we're attached to in order to burn the very root of our attachments. So we not only get rid of the symptoms, we go right to the disease. And so the 3 extra bowls represents your body, your speech, and mind. Your offering of your body, speech, and mind. Your total submission to the Dharma. What is submission to the Dharma? Submission to the path of compassion, forgiveness, and love. Over hatred, ill will, jealousy. That's what you're submitting when you make those offerings. So these offerings came into our country, specifically recommended by one of the greatest lamas, the great Indian master, Pandit Atisha, who had direct visions of Tara all the time from Nalanda Monastery, India. So he came and he said, when we use these offering objects, these offering bowls, we should use them of the highest quality. The first one is ceramics, clay, wood. That's the 3rd rate. Second is brass and copper. And the highest rate of making offerings with precious items are silver and or gold. This was recommended by Lama Atisha himself. And he says that we have a lot of attachments to offer things. Water is the substance of life. Water is the essence of life. And water makes everything grow and purifies and cleans and refreshes. So by offering water is a very great way of making merits, at the same time not being attached. Because when we start these offerings, we're very attached. It's very difficult to get people to buy silver bowls. It's very difficult to get people to buy precious offering objects on the altar. Why? It shows you the state of their mindseliness. They will have beautiful china, beautiful dishes. They'll have beautiful crockery. And they'll put beautiful casings and all that to save it. And they'll have silverware. But to offer precious items to a Buddha, they're very miserly. Why? They don't understand the benefits. They don't understand the benefit. Some people say, oh, I don't want to make donations. I don't want to make statues and all that stuff because, I can do better with my donations, something else. But if you look at that person and how they donate to themselves and how they take care of themselves, you can see the extent of their miserly mind. So when we use these precious objects, so if someone like Andy who has a lot of money and he offers silver and gold, and I don't have money and I offer clay and I offer wood, our merits will be equivalent. Why? Due to mind generation and intent. But if Andy says, oh, I want to be simple, and I don't want to be, I have precious items because I'm simple, but the undercurrent of that is really miserliness, and he offers wood and, ceramics or clay, he gets the merit of that. You're actually directly concealing from a Buddha, which you can't. So people will make cheapskate offerings, and they sit and pray in front of the Buddha. Who are you fooling? The Buddha knows how much you have, how much you can get, and the merit that arises from that, and the benefits. And then you sit in front of, ooh, like that. Who are you fooling? Of course, the Buddha's not greedy for your little cups of offering. You think Buddha Shakyamuni sits there all day waiting for your 1 cup of water? I don't think he needs your water. You need to offer him water. So water creates no attachment. It's clean. It's pure. And in Tibet, the water was not easy to get, but it was very, very clean and pristine because it's the Himalayan mountains. Aditya recognized that. So people have to walk for kilometers to bring the water back and then make the offerings. There's a lot of effort. So people did a lot of water offerings, have great biceps and triceps. Nuns too. And people who don't make offerings, they don't have great biceps and triceps and muscles and shoulders. What are you laughing at, Chia? Chia's holy because he's doing a retreat. He's like, I'm a bodhisattva and you're not. But I have compassion for you here. Oops, caught. Okay, so when we offer these precious items, all right, as His Holiness says, is very, very important. Why? On our altar, before making the offerings, this is all interconnected. I'm going to hit all of this in one shot for all of you. Before doing that, we have 6 preparatory practices. 6. All right, for any altar, 6 preparatory practices, which is very important. Before you set up an altar and make offerings and get your tanka and bring your statue here. All right? Those are six preliminary or 6 preparatory. 1, cleaning the place of practice and setting up the altar. Cleaning the place. So to clean it very well, to clean it with concentration and with awareness. Why? It is a very powerful. You see, cleaning itself is not intrinsically good or bad. But cleaning so that you can impress your lover, impress somebody that you're good and you're wonderful, is negative karma. But cleaning with the intent to bring a holy being in so that you can represent a clear state of mind with this cleanliness, that this is what you wish to achieve, and you offer that cleanliness to the 3 jewels. So when you clean, it creates that type of inclination. So when you clean with the motivation, it's very powerful. So people who make offerings, they should be very focused on cleaning. Cleaning the glass, cleaning the tables, cleaning around, being very neat and precise and almost very meticulous. And the floor, clean from top to bottom, not bottom to top. I see some people make offerings and they sweep. No, wrong. Why? When you sweep, all the dust goes in. Dust go in or not doesn't disturb the Buddha, but it shows your lack of awareness, your lack of concentration, total lack. So some of you house husbands out there who haven't spent one day in the kitchen, you're going to spend one day in Buddha's kitchen. Make sure the offerings are fabulous. So and then the altar itself, basic minimum, should be a representation of the Buddha's body in the center. Okay? A basic representation of Buddha's body. Any Buddha, whatever you like, your meditational deity, what not. Then on this side, I don't want to say left and right because I've been asked this many times, your left, his right, her right. Who's right? Who's left? I make it very simple for you people who don't know left and right. Buddha here, right? The Dharma scripture here. And a stupa here. Just like over here. Okay, you right, your left, your right, my right, your right. I don't know, like you right, whatever right you think is right. So a basic altar, after cleaning up, you set up the altar. The Buddha image, whatever Buddha, Shakyamuni, Lama Tsongkhapa, What, you have your yidams and practices. If you have a few deities, there's a way of placing them. And that's out of awareness also. So you put the Buddha here, you put the Dharma scripture here, and you put the stupa here. The Buddha body, the Buddha image represents the holy body of the Buddha. You wish to purify your negativity, the Buddha body you've collected for many lifetimes. And you wish to attain the Buddha body in all the magical, mystical abilities that come along with that. And then on top of that, you have the Buddha scripture representing all. You don't have to have every single scripture. You have one to represent or two, up to you. That's why in our outlets, I've had beautiful scriptural containers and holders with glass made of wood, painted with beautiful scriptures inside. And you can have the Tibetan scriptures. I prefer Tibetan scriptures over the books. Why? It just looks more holy, looks more scriptural. But it's up to you. So I imported a lot of beautiful scriptures that are printed and made in Ganden Monastery by the monks themselves. And that the little bit, a few rupees that they earn goes to their sustenance. So it helps the monastery. And I have beautiful Tara texts, Vajrayana texts, Yamataka texts. Wow, you can't read it, but who cares? It's holy. And if you put those texts in a container, whatever, nearby, it represents all the Buddha's speech. And that all the things that you said and done with your speech that you regret may be purified. And may you gain the 60 qualities of Buddha's holy speech. 60 qualities. And that when you speak, may it be like nectar and medicine to others and benefit. Whatever comes out of your mouth, indirectly, directly, may benefit and benefit and benefit. Because it's by speech the Dharma is conveyed. And then on this side, okay, I don't know what you guys want to call this side is a stupa. Stupa has 8 forms. A stupa is a physical representation of the enlightened characters or characteristics of a Buddha mind. So each part of the stupa, how it's placed, how it's stacked, and the levels and the numbers all represent a particular characteristic of a Buddha's mind. A Buddha's mind is non-tangible form, without form and colorless. So to represent that, we have a stupa, a reliquary. And traditionally, the stupas are all over. In China, they call it pagoda. All over the Buddhist world is not just Tibet. And there's 8 main forms of stupas that can be made. 8 main forms. In our retreat center in the future, we must make stupas outside, big ones. We have families sponsor one, or 2 families combined, or couples or whatever. It's very powerful. Why? Depending on the stupas inside, you can put wealth vases. You can put the contents of your holy lama's ashes and body, or even hair, the clothes of high lamas or relics. You can put many, many tatsas. And if you're very fortunate and lucky, you can make thousands of tatsas and seal it well and put it inside the stupas. Why? When people circumambulate, they're circumambulating around that many Buddhas. And you can put many Dharma texts inside, many wealth faces. So you can fill it with wealth faces. People go down there once, they go there, hit 4D. They come back, they say, I like you. Why not? And they can be Zambala stupas. They can be Tsongkhapa stupas, Victory stupas, Namgyalma stupas, Tsongkhapa stupas. Wow. And they're decorated beautiful with bells on top. So that each time it rings, it resounds the sound of Dharma. The stupas themselves represent a complete iconography of the characteristics of a Buddha's mind. So when you have a stupa, any size, see this one I like very much because I like the old style one, the Indian style. And I had it gold plated and I had it lacquered. And then inside contains my personal guru's relics. I have His Holiness the Dalai Lama's clothes in here. Pabongla Rinpoche's clothes, Trijang Rinpoche's clothes. I have the hair and the nails of my Guru Kyabje Khyentse Rinpoche. I have the hair and the beard of His Holiness Kyabje Song Rinpoche. And I have several very holy mantras, such as the Vajrayana mantra, written in Song Rinpoche's own hand. And Song Rinpoche's personal mantra, Oma Guru Beza Sumti Veda Mui Shazan Donzi Siddhi Hong Hong, he wrote himself at my request. He's so humble. When I asked him for his personal name mantra, he wrote it, and I was jumping up and down. I went and showed my other teacher. He said, no, that's his guru's. I said, who's that? He said, Trijang Rinpoche. I said, I don't want Trijang Rinpoche. I want his. Stupid what? Anyways, I went back. I want yours. So he wrote his own mantra, and I was so humble, and I kept that in here. And then several chakras that Rinpoche made with his own holy hands. He made 3 chakras. It took him weeks. I saw him working on it. I don't know why. Then he came out, and he went like this to me. He said, which one do you want? Of course, I grabbed a big, colorful one. And it turned out to be a higher Griva chakra. Incredible. He was doing that for me because he knows I would be traveling, a lot of obstacles and difficulties along the road. And I have many, many holy items in here. Many. And the holy Dharmapalas, the holy Dharma protectors in Ganden who take trance of the oracle, the Kudin, And when Dharma protectors come, they bless, they also give. It's also in here. Everything. So this is very precious to me. And it also has some initiations I've received that is a connection to me, my Lama, and my Idam, my deities. It's a physical representation of the connection, the commitment that we have is also here, given to me by Tsem Rinpoche. So there's a lot of precious items in here that have no physical, monetary value to anybody, but on a spiritual level, it's powerful. That's why these things don't contain things I feel is holy. They are holy on itself. It's intrinsically holy, that's it. So that's why I carry this around as an object of worship, and I put on people's head. Why? When it's put on your head, it temporarily removes the obscurations to listen. To see it, to hear, temporarily removes the obscurations to listen to the Dharma, to go in. Very, very holy, very powerful. So on our altar, we should have a stupa representing the Buddha's mind, who is one with our Guru, the Buddha, and the Dharma scripture. So every time you make offerings, every time you make prostrations, anytime you light an incense, you're not lighting incense only Buddha's body, a statue, his speech and mind. I mean, when you become a Buddha, you want to have speech and his mind. You don't want to just be a lifeless corpse Buddha body, right? A zombie Buddha. You imagine him? Zombie Buddha walking around. What's your name? JP? PJ? JP. Okay. Oh, he speaks. Very different than previous times we met. This time he speaks once. Last time, oh, excuse me, we're on his wonderful English accent. Don't worry, you're not the only one. There's a few people in here who's got this English accent. Never, I don't know. Okay, so what happens is stupas is basic on your altar. You can have more than a few deities. You can have the main, you can have your one deity here, you have your scripture here, you have your stupa here. And it's clean, it's prepared, and it's beautiful. It's for you. It's for you to collect merits. It's for you to make prostrations and offerings. It's for you to generate incredible merit, for you to gain realizations and to free yourself of obscurations. And those images should be the best that you can make. The best. And there's no time or place where you put it. Any time you can put it, any place you can put it, except the toilet, of course. Any place, any time. It's unlike the Taoist tradition here where they respect a lot the worldly gods. They're scared, actually, that you move it at this time. Only this person can move it, that person can move it. Well, I can say that too. Your statues, only Rinpoche can put it in, only Rinpoche can remove it, and every time I come in and out, you know what? Get that red envelope out. No. Buddhas can never be offended. You can never do anything wrong with them. But the more careful you are, the more respect you show is creation of awareness in your mind. You can't hurt the Buddhas. You can't do anything to them. Nothing. If they can be hurt, they're not Buddhas. So that's basically it for, without getting into lengthy details about that, it'll be enough for your write-up. So what happens is, cleaning the place and practicing setting up the altar, wiping, dusting, sweeping, and removing the dust. Even remove dust has a meditation. And once you set up the altar, as I described just now, arranging an attractive display of offerings, whatever you want to offer. Whether you have silver cups, wooden cups, you have 2 sets, 3 sets, doesn't really matter. The more sets, the better. Why? How fast do you want to achieve your spiritual results? And especially if you have big projects, if you have big goals, if you have big aims, the more offerings you make, directly they will affect your aims to come true faster. Directly. So on a worldly level, samsaric level, making offerings is a direct cause for creating wealth and purifying poverty. So we're afraid of being poor. If we're afraid in future life we're going to be poor, this life we're going to lose what we have, or we want to get something we don't have, making offerings is a direct counter to poverty and a direct, not indirect, method for gaining wealth. And there are many great lamas, if you read their biographies, many, that when they first entered the monastery, those who are very dedicated to making offerings, very dedicated. In the beginning, they have a few plastic cups, well, not in Tibet, in India, yes. A few stainless steel, a few little, not very nice ones. And then as the years go by, you start seeing silver cups, you see everything around the Lama grow and increase. The Lama's ladrang, the Lama's abilities, the Lama's teaching, the Lama's mind, the Lama's wealth, everything about the Lama will increase. Why? By the power of making offerings. And if you have a Dharma institution and you want the Dharma to be a very great benefit to others, you should make many, many offerings in your Dharma institution with the best of the offerings that you can afford. The best is according to your means. The best can be wood. It doesn't really matter. And if you make more and you make vast offerings, then daily awareness will grow. Merits will increase. And merits for enlightenment, yes. And attainments, yes. But for removing the obstacles to your personal endeavors of getting wealth. That is for sure. That says here directly. Directly. That is no joke. No joke. Number 3, sitting correctly in the meditational posture and then taking refuge in developing the Bodhi mind. That's the third preliminary. The fourth preliminary is generating the visualization of the merit field. Not only the Buddha you have in front of you, but to generate the whole merit field of the complete field of Buddhas. To train your mind, to train it in meditation, train it in concentration, and to expand the mind, and to hold the focus. Because that is a type of shamatha meditation in the northern schools. In the southern schools of shamatha meditation, or vipassana, they focus upon the breath. But you see, in the northern schools, breath is wonderful, but it's more beneficial if you focus your concentration on a Buddha or many Buddhas. Why? There's double benefit. One is vipassana, you create awareness, but the breath itself has no benefit. None. You just develop awareness. Whereas in the northern schools, when you meditate and you develop concentration and awareness by a Buddha, like a yidam, if you meditate on Vajrayogini and you hold that, as opposed to holding your breath, focusing on that. If you can focus going in and out of your breath 1-2 hours, is pretty good. But if you can focus 1 or 2 hours a day on Vajrayogini or Buddha Shakyamuni or Tsongkhapa, much greater. Why? The object itself is enlightened being. So meditating and contemplating on it create waves and waves of powerful imprints to become connected and one with that deity. At the same time, to be able to focus on that deity simultaneously also creates the weapon or the tool you need, which is awareness, toward destroying self-negative habits. We have many negative habits that we just can't help. We keep doing. We can't hold our bodies up well. We can't stay awake. We don't know how we talk. We're messy. We're rude. We forget things. We have a lot of negative habits. A lot. And then people tell us and remind us and have to tell us again and again and again. It's like talking to a spoiled child for the rest of their lives. And these people who are unaware, uncouth, unkept, and irresponsible always forget they are a disaster for people around them. Why? Everybody has to cover for them all the time. So the direct opponent to this type of behavior is awareness. Awareness. Awareness arises from making our mind focus on an object uninterruptedly, consistently over and over. And that meditation will grow. When you are able to focus on that object without moving your mind, but you're not on some weird, cloud 9 kind of meditation. You're actually totally aware. When you're aware, your ears become very sharp. Your eyes become sharp. Your senses, your feeling, your gut feelings, everything, you become very sharp and very sensitive. Contrary to what people believe that when you go into meditation, you go in some blissful state and you don't see or hear anything around you because you're in deep in meditation. That is BS. People who are in deep meditation are in fact very attuned to everything around them. And some people can be in meditation, even moving and talking. Their senses are extremely alert and quick. Almost clairvoyant or prophetic. That's how sharp their senses are. Why? From the development of meditation. Meditation upon what? Focusing and placement of the mind upon one object and staying there. Why? You think about how you can focus your mind on one object and stay there. How we think about what we're going to eat, where we can go, what we're going to do, who did this, what said what. And then our mind, some of us get tired, we fall asleep. Not able to control our mind is reflected by not being able to control our body and our speech. If we keep forgetting things, if we keep not grooming or not cleaning, if we keep knocking things over and we're uncouth and we're not aware of the impact we have on other people with our behavior, that arises from lack of awareness. Lack of awareness. And then if we're told and then we remember and then we forget again the next day and we forget next day, we keep forgetting. That is, we're aware one day, but it's not total awareness. It's not pure awareness. So if we do this awareness type of meditation daily, what will happen is this. Your senses will become very sharp and very quick and very fast. And you'll be able to use that onto yourself to see what creates unhappiness within you in relations to others. So those people who are very unaware and unalert, they're usually people who can't focus their mind. Now, if you say everybody's like that, no. We all have the power to focus our mind. Why? We all have our interests. And when our interest sparks us, we can focus on it for hours. No problem at all. No problem. No problem. For some people, it's money, talking about money. Oh, they're very focused. They can plan, premeditate, and see how and what and all that. They're very good. For some people, it's music and fashion. You talk about that, they're very focused. They can be on the other side of the room, they hear everything you say. So we do have focus. It's not focusing on what we should focus on is another part of awareness. It's kind of like self-deception. If we say we don't have focus and we can't focus, that's not correct. Because then none of you can drive, none of you can eat. None of you can do anything that takes you more than a few seconds of concentration. If you check within yourselves and you have focus and you can concentrate on a few things, but other things you cannot, it means that it's not that you don't have awareness. You're not aware of what you should be aware of. So you should shift your awareness over. And how you do that is when you do placement meditation every single day, whether it's in the southern schools of Buddhism, such as breath, or the northern schools, which is the Yidam practices. Wow. The meditation of the Yidam practices, where by meditating upon the Yidams combined with mantra and visualization and motivation, not only do you create awareness, you gain attainments. Actual attainments. Directly from the deities. So it's a double benefit. So let's say that if we're very fortunate that our Lama has told us, oh, your Yidam is Lama Tsongkhapa. Oh, your Yidam is Tara. And you are committed and you receive instructions and you do the practice. There's double benefit. You gain attainments and at the same time awareness. And the sign of awareness is this, is you forget less and you become more responsible. And you're able to take on more responsibility and burden and shoulder more, as if last year, if you can only take care of one person yourself, this year you can take care of 5. Next year you can take care of 10, 20, 30. And the effort put into taking care of 30 as opposed to 1 becomes the same for you. Why? That's a sign of your awareness growing. Those who are not aware cannot take care. Why? They're focusing on themselves. Lack of awareness is our main demon, is our main devil in our minds. It is the one that creates unhappiness in all of us in any situation. And whether you're Buddhist or not, or whether you believe in Buddha or not, forget it. Having awareness itself is a very powerful tool for anything we want to do in our lives. If we want to check what makes us unhappy, we need awareness. If we want to check what's wrong with us and how we want to transform and change, we need awareness. If we don't get along with people, we're unhappy, we need awareness. If we're attached, we need awareness. Awareness is a very powerful tool to remove attachment. Some people have a relationship with someone, they break up, they cannot let go, they're still with that mind, and they can't be happy. Awareness is very powerful for that. Learning things awareness. And controlling your body functions, sleepy or not sleepy, pushing yourself, pain or no pain, comes from awareness. And even remembering minute details of things that happened many years ago arise from awareness. And remembering your previous lives derives from awareness. Everything is awareness. So highly attained meditation people, the first sign of them is their eyes are sharp. Their senses are very quick. You never see do you ever see a dumb lama? You ever see a female lama nun? You ever see any dumb lamas? Oh, that guy's dumb and unaware. You drop this, the lama doesn't see, doesn't hear, doesn't know, like, duh. Or certain things you talk about, the lama's aware. Certain things you talk about, the lama's like, you ever see like that? You ever see a dumb, unaware lama? If you see a meditation master, lama doesn't just mean Tibet, okay? No, we cannot be so biased. And I don't mean meditation master, just monk and nun. Can be any of you, anyone. Anyone who's accomplished a meditation of awareness in some ability, capacity, the sign is they're aware. They're quick. And anything around them, they don't damage or destroy. They're very quick and very fast. It's a natural side benefit. And the next step for them, you'll see, is that they're in personal negative habits that are disturbing to others will dissipate. Why? They'll start remembering what they should do. They'll be aware that what it does to other people when they act this way or talk this way or live this way or do this way out of habituation. They'll become aware and they'll start cutting it off. Why? How do you find the methods to cut off? You need to be aware. You need to know what's wrong first. And you need to have a constant vigilance equated to awareness. And then even deeper, with awareness, you'll be able to start destroying these more subtle imprints of your mind. What kind of imprints in your mind? What kind? The feeling sorry of yourself. The fear of failing. Not being able to accomplish. Not wanting to push yourself more. Pushing responsibilities onto others. Forgetfulness, consistently forgetting. Your favorite word is I forgot. It sounds funny, but it's a very, very clear sign of a deep disturbance. Very deep disturbance. And you will start seeing that in your mind. You're able to deal and see through things precisely and quickly. Some people say, oh wow, that Lama is so logical and quick. What Lama did you see is not logical and quick? All Lamas are logical and quick, accomplished. They're very fast. They can calculate things very fast. Why? From awareness meditation. Awareness. They may play with you and joke with you and jest with you and ask you what you think and ask you this and that. It's just to gauge your mind. You don't need clairvoyance. You just have a very quick, sharp mind. So that you can look at a person, how they dress, how they move, how they act, how they drive, very clearly, and how they talk. You can see clearly their awareness. Clearly. Why? If they talk in such a way that's clear and focused, and they know how to raise their voice to you, or use this word, or use this pronunciation to help you, it's a sign of clarity and awareness. Why? They care that enough, they care that much and have that much compassion to speak well to you so they can give you knowledge. Most important is, there's a Buddha for that, the Buddha of speech, Manjushri. It's so important. So people who have bad speech, people who have speech that misleads or doesn't make their speech better, then your Dharma practice is not bringing results. Why? Then you're just doing mechanical Dharma practice, just the action, but not the real Dharma. The real Dharma is the mind. And one way to check awareness meditation is people's speech. How clear they speak, how they improve on speaking, how they control their speech, how they talk. Not everybody will turn out to be eloquent orators or great teachers, great, professors, but your speech will definitely increase and become better. Why? Out of compassion. Your mind will become alert. And the things you need to do, instead of being reminded, you will start seeing yourself reminding other people nicely. And the habits you need to change will change. Those who have nasty, unpleasant habits that disturb people around them, whether it's purpose or not purpose, it's tantamount to being purposely doing to other people. Why? You can put a solution in, which is awareness. So when you meditate every day in Lama Tsongkhapa, let's say you do the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa, you meditate the steps and stages of the 7 limbs of Lama Tsongkhapa. The first one when he appears, the second one when you make offerings, etc., etc., etc. To focus and do that, that's awareness meditation, using a deity. Even more powerful than the breath. Even more superior than the breath. Why? Double benefit. Double benefit. Of course, there's more benefit if you meditate on the Buddha. So when we do this type of awareness meditation, it will pervade everything in our life. And even if you're not interested in Dharma and you don't care about karma, never mind. Awareness meditation still makes you a better person, makes you a better businessman, makes you a better friend, a better lover, a better husband, better wife, whatever. Why? Your focus of awareness grows. So whoever you live with, you are quick, you are careful, you are fast, and you can take care. You can bear responsibilities. If you don't practice awareness, you're an extremely selfish person. If you always make people repeat, what, they don't understand you and confuse them, you're very selfish. Then if you do prostrations and mantras and mandala offerings, and you do meditation retreats, what's the point? The object of compassion you can do directly. By changing your speech immediately, by focusing and everything, think, talk. And then when you do that, that's compassion. Don't talk about meditating on Kuan Yin, Om Mani Padme Hum, doing retreat. You can directly enact compassion with the people right there. People look for very secret meditations, very secret tantric empowerments, secret rituals and secret mantras to transform the wrongs in their body when the answers are right in front of them. So for people who have bad speech, unclear speech, uncouth speech, all types of speech that is not pleasant to people, then they push themselves to have better speech. And they make themselves have better speech. And they focus their mind on what they say. That creates awareness. Never mind Dharma. That itself benefits people around you. Around you. Then if you have negative habits, then you start focusing on one habit at a time and change it. Not year after year after year. You're the same slob. Same. Then what is your practice? Then you want to teach people Dharma? You want people to come to Dharma? You want to explain Dharma? They're going to, please, go take a shower first. What's the point if you're smelly, dirty, unkept? Your hair looks like you've been through a typhoon? Except for Paris, that's purpose. All right, and what's the point? If you're unkept, whatever you engage in, you cannot finish. You don't get results. And then you want to teach people Dharma? And you want to bring people to the Dharma? And you want to benefit all sentient beings? And you want to make a tanka of yourself like this? Why? If you yourself is undisciplined, if you yourself don't improve, if you yourself actions, behavior is consistently same or degenerating, and then you compassionately want to help people to the Dharma, you will not have effects even if your generation of compassion is genuine. Why? You have to back it up with practice. And that all arises from awareness. So how many people we can bring into the Dharma, how many people we can influence in the Dharma, arises from how much compassion and awareness we have. How much you can influence others through positive actions, not negative, is how much compassion and awareness we have. Why? If you're the most ugly and evil person in the world, you have the worst speech, maybe you're dirty or negative or whatever, and if you transform yourself through the practice of awareness and you start changing, you will inspire many people. If you're born perfect, you live perfect, you die perfect, whatever. It doesn't affect people like us because we're not, and it's too far away for us. But if you're someone nasty and evil and stupid and anorexic, or you're bulimic, or you have all kinds of hang-ups, you're afraid of transportation, you're afraid to drive, you're afraid of green clothes, you're afraid of whatever. And then you start improving without even opening your mouth. People around you say, "What happened? What are you doing?" "Oh, well, I'm doing this meditation." "Oh, can you tell me about it?" Immediately. If you're not kind and if you're not kind and you're miserly, how do you expect other people to donate to you? How do you expect your center to grow or your practice to grow when you yourself want donations and want help, but you don't want to donate and help? How? Then people look at you and say, look at Mr. or Mrs. Miserly, look at Mr. and Mrs. Greedy or whatever, or look at Sir Greedy, the Tan Sri Greedy. What's the point? Who wants to donate to greedy? But if you see someone giving and generous all the time and they ask you for donation, you give it immediately. Why? You know their motivation. So what happens is if you yourself are messy and uncouth, you don't study, you don't meditate, you don't know anything, it's been year after year, and then even if you know things, you can loquaciously explain the Dharma to people, of course over some Baku day, but you yourself don't have any results of that, year after year after year. Who can you bring onto the Dharma? How do you benefit the growth of Dharma in yourself and others? How do you benefit your Lama? In fact, these type of people, they create the causes to have conflict with their Lama. Total conflict. It says here very clearly by His Holiness the 13th Dalai Lama, I recommend this book for you guys. It's wonderful. It says here by the 13th Dalai Lama during his Molam teachings, however, when one's attitude and behavior are undisciplined and inappropriate, mere association with the Guru will be of no avail. That means being near a Guru, serving a Guru, being on the entourage is no avail. The example is given of a bee and a frog. Both live at the side of the lake in a garden of lotus flowers. But only the bee daily drinks the honey of the lotus. The frog gets no benefit whatsoever from the lotus nectar. In the same way, only the person with the correct attitude and disciplined behavior will be able to extract the benefits of contact with their Guru. So if you're uncouth, you're undisciplined, you're not aware, you can be near a living Buddha. You will be a demon. Why? You can't, like the frog and the bee, you cannot extract the nectar. So just being near a holy Guru doesn't validate who you are and what you're doing and doesn't make you holy. Stupid people might believe you're something because you're near a Guru or whatever, or you're an attendant or close. No. They look at your behavior. So similarly, it says here, moreover, His Holiness says, there are some types of people whose minds are so distorted that contact with the Guru just increases their accumulation of negative karma. Because of their own mental shortcomings, they just impute faults upon the Guru and see the holy as unholy. They are like owls for whom sunlight, an element that normally is only beneficial, causes eye problems. Because of their mental obscuration, a positive circumstance is twisted into something negative and only further compounds their confusion. So, with practice of awareness, even if we want to go to higher practices, if we're near our Guru, we're near enlightened being, we're near these holy beings, doesn't mean anything if we don't have disciplined behavior and we have the correct attitude. So if we have the wrong attitude, we'll always see something wrong with the teacher. Wrong attitude, all the time. All the time. Even if the teacher has a few wrong behavior that you feel is not right and has a few good ones, even the good ones you cannot get. You cannot get. Definitely cannot get. So what happens is, these type of people who have the wrong, twisted attitude, when they live or be under the care of a guru, they collect even more negative karma. Why? If they're lazy, they leave it to the students, other students to cover for them. If they're greedy, they'll use up the lama's wealth, pay things for themselves, pay off their responsibilities. They don't want to transform themselves, therefore they cannot do better in a job, therefore they need to use the money of the lama to cover for them. Very simple. So in fact, they take the Sangha's money to cover for their irresponsibilities. They collect even more negative karma by being near a guru. They think, oh, now I have an easy life. Wrong. So these type of people, very, very dangerous. And some of these type of people, they go near the gurus, and they take money from them, or they take resources or people, whatever, and they use it. They don't return, they don't explain, they don't do anything. And they think the lama is stupid. But they themselves, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Why? These type of people don't look at the lama as the Dharma teacher to give us the Dharma to enlightenment. They look at them as a business opportunity. Or they look at them as some opportunity to swindle or swipe some money. Or they look at the lama as someone who can cover them for their irresponsibilities. Or they look at them as some friend or just some companion, where from this person you can get much more knowledge and information and divine Buddhahood. So from a divine being with divine knowledge, you become a demon. So being near a holy lama doesn't mean you're going the right way or you're good. Because you have to have the right discipline and the right attitude. And that all arises, again, from behavior. And that's why there's Tibetan etiquettes on how you serve the lama. When the lama comes in, what you do, how you stand up, how you give him food, how you give him clothes. When he travels, how you make his arrangements. You don't make him your travel agent. But you make sure everything is perfect for him. That he doesn't have to lift any finger and there's no discomfort. That you see everything for the trip for him is perfect. Why? It is awareness practice. And if you've not been treating your guru like that and your guru is compassionate not to allow that to happen anymore, he doesn't let your practice degrade. So even when I did that for Khensa Rinpoche when I traveled, I make sure everything was perfect. From carrying his bags, fixing his bed on the train, putting him asleep, waking up all times of the night to make sure he's all right, to check the temperature, and whether it was cold or hot, and put the blanket or take the blanket off on him, to make sure he took his diabetic medicines every 6 hours. I did that for years for Khensa Rinpoche, to be aware and alert to serve my lama. Always nearby, to be deficient of sleep, to be deficient of my own personal comfort, to make sure my lama's okay, because he propounds the Dharma to benefit many. I don't expect Khensa Rinpoche to do this. You get the ticket, you do this, you carry the bag, you don't know, you sit there, I don't know. Why would you travel with your guru if you want him as your personal tour guide? Why? In fact, the lama shouldn't even say anything to you. You should have everything prepared perfectly. And if you can't, you collect even more negative karma. You let your awareness go down. And the lama directly tells you that this is required, this is required, this is required, because you're ignorant, you don't know, and you still cannot comply, then the lama will keep quiet. Why? If said too much, it looks like some kind of personal ego trip to be, entertained and taken care of, the best. If you make sure your lama is comfortable, and the travel is convenient, and everything is done, and everything's made, and everything's perfect, it shows your awareness, your practice, your devotion, and how committed you are to spreading the Dharma. It's a reflection of you. If you sit there hoping to get a ticket out of your lama, or he carries your bags for you, or you get the best. Everything's done for you. The ticket is handed to you by the lama. You just stand there, and pretend you're royalty. Why is it in the Dharma room, you prostrate, he's your guru, oh mani padme, but outside, he's your slave, he's your servant, he's your cook, he's your cleaner, he's your advisor. You put him in a position, he has to shout at you and tell you off. Why? Why is it in one situation, he's your porter? In another situation, he's your maid. In another situation, he's your guru. What do you want from your lama? Do you want enlightenment, or do you want a valet? Some people even have the audacity to say, oh, you're too aware, you're too quick, and so none of us can catch up. Ridiculous! That is a lame excuse for not wanting to improve or improving by saying you're too quick for us. Lame. It is a direct cover of one's laziness to be aware and to move faster. Direct. So you can apply that to everything, anything. When you have this awareness meditation, you can serve your lama if you have received Tantra and receive the benefits. You can maintain a Dharma center. You can do the offerings perfectly, clean and well, and you derive the benefits. You can maintain your house, and the people around you, you will be able to bring them joy and happiness. And you'll be able to cut down your negativities and your lack of awareness, your uncouth behavior, your weird speech, your unfocused mind. your unclear speech, all that can be transformed. And your difficulty in getting close to people. Some people move from job to job, move from house to house, country to country. I met them many times, many people. It's an escape from not going all the way close with someone because they know how they are. They know their behavior, so they don't want to get close. They need to escape so that they don't have to face themselves and deal with it. It all comes from a lack of awareness. How far and how long can we run? How far? And if we look at someone near the Lama, and the person is rude to the Lama, talks rude, behaves rude, acts rude, and shows anger to the Lama, and more worse, in front of other people they show that, it is total reflection of their mind. And they tell people and justify, I'm angry, I've been done wrong. But in actuality, it shows clearly how they use the Lama and what they expect to be given by the Lama is not a spiritual practice. They want something physical. They want comfort, they want money, they want something free, they want to be taken care of. They want to have no burdens. So people who actually are angry at the Lama, demand or want or show their anger in front of other people, is a clear sign that their relationship with their Lama from their side is not spiritual. It is give me something. Recognition, respect, money, comfort, whatever. They want something from the Lama. Why? If it's spiritual, you will follow the spiritual rules of the 50 verses Guru devotion. You will never be rude and uncouth to your Lama. Never. And especially if you want to spread Dharma to other people. If you want to spread Dharma to other people, and you're rude to your Lama in front of other people, the message you're giving to them is, you can do that. So how do you spread the Dharma into their minds? In the beginning, they may agree with you and say, yeah, you've been done wrong, I agree with you. But as they learn the Dharma more and more, they understand the ethics and how we're supposed to behave, they're going to turn around and look at you and say, something's wrong. Why? Truth always prevails. How you treat your Lama, especially publicly, is a reflection of your spiritual practice and your awareness. How you act and sit and how you move your body in front of your Lama is how much you want to spread the Dharma to other beings. And respect. And your agenda is your agenda. And if you have the nerve to argue or present worldly agendas and proposals and money and deals and all these kind of things and sign this and sign that with your Lama, it shows that your agenda with your Lama is not Dharma, or the agenda you have is not Dharma. It is business. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. It's very clear. Who is low enough to use a Dharma institution to extract financial gains? Who is that low? Who can be that low in thinking? If you're that low that you can extract from a Dharma institution to gain financial gains, profits or whatever, if that's your sole aim, if you're really poor and you need to survive and the Dharma Center helps you with whatever, that's different. But when you can make elsewhere your own finances, and you take and you do, and you purposely, that's your goal. The important thing is motive, your goal. And you do that. It shows you what type of person you are. It means you have no respect for anyone, because the highest in this world is religious. Next is our parents. You have no respect. If you have no respect for anyone else, why would you expect to be happy and have other people respect you or trust you? And then why would you get angry when people don't trust you? Why? Why would you be angry when you have no respect for other people? Those are things not to criticize people. Those are ways to measure people's awareness and to make your mind aware. Very, very important.